I was alone with my husband's friend and then a real-life affair. Confession is based on unbelievable facts. I never imagined my life would take such a turn. But sometimes, when life becomes routine and love fades into the background, something unexpected can shake your world. This is my confession, a story of how one moment of weakness turned into an affair that altered everything. I knew the stormy day. It was a cold, rainy Sunday afternoon. The kind of day that pulls you into a deep sense of loneliness. Even if everything in your life seems right on the surface. My husband James had left early that morning for a business trip, leaving me alone in our cozy house just outside London. We've been married for 8 years, and while there was no lack of affection between us, the passion had dulled over time. Our relationship had settled into the comfortable routine of married life. But sometimes comfort can feel like isolation. James' closest friend Liam arrived unexpectedly that afternoon. Liam had been a constant presence in our lives for years. He and James had grown up together, inseparable since their school days, and their bond had extended into our marriage. Liam was charming, warm, and always quick to lend a hand. But on that rainy day, something shifted between us. I didn't realize James was out of town, Liam said as he stood at the door soaking wet from the storm. Mind if I wait out the rains? I didn't think twice about letting him in. It was normal for Liam to drop by, to hang out with both of us, and it didn't feel unusual to be alone with him. But as we sat together in the living room, sipping tea and chatting, there was a strange undercurrent between us. A subtle tension I hadn't noticed before. We talked about the usual things at first, his work, James' travels. But then the conversation turned deeper. I found myself sharing things I hadn't even told James. How I felt lonely sometimes. How the spark in my marriage had dimmed. Liam listened intently, his gaze soft and understanding. There was something in his eyes that unsettled me. Something unspoken but undeniable. Crossing the line, the rain continued to beat against the windows, and the silence between us grew heavy. We both knew in some unspoken way that something was happening. Something that neither of us had anticipated. Liam reached out and gently took my hand. It was a simple gesture, but it felt intimate in a way that sent my heart racing. I should have pulled away. Should have stopped whatever this was before it could begin. But instead I let my hand linger in his. I didn't expect to feel this way, Liam said softly, his voice low. I looked at him, my heart pounding. Neither did I. His hand remained on mine. And suddenly it was like the world outside had disappeared. The rain, the house. Even the thought of James faded from my mind, as Liam leaned in and pressed his lips to mine. The kiss was gentle, tentative, but it set off a fire inside me that I hadn't felt in years. When we finally pulled apart, reality came crashing back. This was wrong, so wrong. And yet I couldn't deny the connection I felt with Liam in that moment. A connection I hadn't realized I was missing until now. A dangerous affair after that day. Things between Liam and me changed irrevocably. We didn't intend to let it go further, but the pull between us was too strong. We began meeting in secret. Our stolen moments filled with passion and guilt. At first it was exhilarating, like a forbidden dance we couldn't stop. Even though we knew it would eventually destroy us. I would lie awake at night, consumed with guilt over what I was doing to James. He was a good man, a loyal husband, But with Liam, I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. It wasn't just physical with Liam. I could be vulnerable in ways I hadn't been with James for a long time. He listened, understood me, and made me feel desired. But each time we were together, the weight of our secret grew heavier. We both knew we were playing with fire. Liam was torn between his loyalty to James and his feelings for me. And I was torn between my love for my husband and the passion I shared with Liam. Every kiss, every touch felt like a betrayal. But it also felt impossible to stop. Caught in the middle one evening, after spending another stolen afternoon with Liam, I returned home to find James sitting in the living room. There was something off in the way he looked at me, like he knew, or at least suspected, that something had changed between us. "I've been feeling like something's different," James said, his voice calm but laced with suspicion. "You've been distant." My heart pounded in my chest. I had never felt more ashamed. I wanted to confess everything in that moment, to come clean and stop living this lie. But the words caught in my throat. I couldn't bear the thought of hurting James or of losing Liam. So I said nothing. I lied. The confession: the affair with Liam couldn't continue. Not like this. The guilt was consuming me. And the deception was eating away at everything I had built with James. I knew deep down that I couldn't live in both worlds. I had to make a choice one evening. As Liam and I sat together in his small flat, I told him we had to end things. "I love you," I whispered, tears in my eyes, "but I can't keep doing this. It's not fair to James." Liam looked at me. Pain etched across his face. "I never wanted to hurt him or you. But we are," I said, my voice breaking. "We're hurting everyone. I can't live with this secret anymore." Liam nodded, his jaw clenched with emotion. He knew I was right. But neither of us wanted to let go of what we had found in each other. Facing the consequences the next day, I finally told James the truth. I confessed everything about Liam, the affair, and how far it had gone. His reaction was everything I feared it would be. The hurt in his eyes was devastating. The betrayal cutting him to the core. "I never thought you'd do this," he said, his voice raw with emotion. With my best friend, I didn't try to defend myself. I couldn't. All I could do is tell him how sorry I was, how much I regretted what I had done. But sorry didn't change the fact that I had destroyed our marriage. James left that night. I didn't blame him. I had broken his trust in the worst possible way. And I knew that even if he forgave me one day, things would never be the same. The aftermath: after James left, I was alone with my thoughts and the weight of my choices. Liam and I had ended things, knowing that our affair could never turn into anything real. We had built our connection on betrayal. And no matter how deep our feelings ran, it couldn't erase the damage we had done. The love I found with Liam was real, but it came at too high a cost. Now, months later, I'm left with the wreckage of 2 broken relationships: my marriage to James and the brief intense affair with Liam. This is my confession. I was alone with my husband's best friend. And in that moment, everything changed. I didn't set out to hurt anyone. But sometimes, love and desire lead you down a path you never intended to walk.
Yeah.